Welcome to Unity of Wilmington, a spiritual community that is here with you and for you, acknowledging your divine nature, your capacity to be an innovator, an activator, and an evolutionary in the 21st century. We are here acknowledging that there's only one presence and one power, active in the universe and in our lives. And so it is.
Look at me, you may think you see who I really am, but you'll never know me every day. It's as if I play a part. Now I see, if I wear a mask, I can fool the world, but I cannot fool my heart. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? When will my reflection show who I am inside? I am now in a world where I have to hide my heart and what I believe in, but somehow I will show the world what's inside my heart and be loved for who I am. No, who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Why is my reflection someone I don't know? I must pretend that I'm someone else, though I try. When will my reflection show who I am inside? There's a heart that must be free to fly, that burns with the need to know the reasons why. Why must we all conceal what we think and how we feel? Oh, must there be a secret me I'm forced to hide? I won't pretend that I'm someone else, though I've tried. When will my reflection show who I am inside? When will my reflection show who I am inside?
Who I am inside. How often are we invited in our lives to look inside, to see who we are, and to ask ourselves that very question, who am I inside? When I was growing up, I was taught to look outside for things, to look to other people to help me to reflect my identity. I was invited to look outside of myself to reflect my divinity, although that was not what it was called at the time. Growing up in a Southern Baptist community, and I'm not putting the Southern Baptists down, I had a great time growing up. My grandmother was my Sunday school teacher, and I loved being with her and hearing the Bible stories, and I just loved being with her because when I was in her presence, I felt lighter. I felt loved. I felt that I could pretty much do anything I wanted to do in her presence because I felt my potential in her presence. Do you have someone in your life that you can feel your potential when you get in their presence? That when you come into some form of contact with them, whether it's a physical, in-person experience or whether it's a memory, that your energy level uplifts? You can just, somebody you remember, and your energy just feels better. I'm thinking that most of us can bring forth a memory of somebody who didn't treat us respectfully, and our energy downloads or downshifts. But how many people in our lives do we get around and our energy uplifts? Well, the reason it uplifts is whether that person is consciously aware of it or not, they're expressing their inner light. And we all have that inner light within us. It is the light of God. It is the light of the divine. Whatever word you want to use, don't let my word God get in your way. Use whatever word you want. But know that that inner light is already within you. It's already within me. It's within each of us, waiting to be expressed. And some of us are expressing it far more than others. And part of what we're up to in this spiritual community is inviting everybody to know, to reflect upon, to contemplate their inner light so that they can live from that consciousness of that light that's already within, so that it can radiate forth. And as that light radiates forth from us, then the people who come into contact with us can be uplifted, lighting the path from within. That's one of our tasks on this planet, I believe. And it's a difficult task in some ways to understand. Jesus called his disciples, the ones we know about, there are 12 of them, and then there were people who followed the universal teacher Jesus into a lot of the different places that he went and taught and healed. Even they didn't understand that Jesus was showing us, the way shower, showing us how to live from that place of our inner light, that radiance of light that comes from our knowingness and our experience of the oneness with the one who made us, the oneness with all that is, the oneness of the creator of source energy, whatever terminology you use. And then as people look to worshiping Jesus rather than following in the footsteps in terms of following the teachings of Jesus, learning how to live those teachings, somewhere in the way, some of us, I'm one of those, lost our understanding of the light that is within us. And I'm grateful for the teachers in my life who have begun to show me the light and the ways that I've begun to reflect on the light so that I can understand my own light, so I can generate the light that's already present, but I can tune into it. I can turn my attention and my awareness to it, and I can radiate it forth in the world. And when we move into places that are rather chaotic, we can bring our light and expand our awareness of our light beyond our physical body properties. And when we do that, we can watch things calm down quite a bit. And when there's a group of people doing it, things calm down a lot. The studies on people who choose to meditate at a particular time when something's happening in the world, the research shows that things begin to calm, that there's an energy shift because we're bringing our light together in a focus. And as light comes together from each individual, the eachness of our allness, as Reverend Eric Butterworth would say, when that light comes together, it expands exponentially. Light is an absolute in this world. Light is what allows us to see the colors, the beautiful yellow daffodils that are blooming and popping up everywhere here in Wilmington, and the other trees that are beginning to bud and bloom, the grass that's starting to turn green, the beautiful blue of a Carolina sky. All of those things, wherever you are, when you begin to look at them, to focus on them, think about the light, the way they're reflecting the light. It's a frequency. And the rate of vibration is how we see those colors. Now, we're all a point of consciousness. Wherever we are the center of the divine, wherever we are. And so wherever we are in our consciousness is what we're radiating. When I'm sad or angry, I'm radiating sad and angry. But the light inside of me never goes away. When I'm happy and joyful, I'm radiating that joy, and it's a faster frequency than anger or sadness. And there's nothing wrong with anger or sadness. We all move into that energetic frequency at times. But when I'm aware that within me always is the light, that I am the light, I can easier be in the flow of the light and know that that frequency of feeling can move. Emotion is an energy. It's looking for movement. It comes from the root word to motivate, which means to move. So the emotion of anger and sadness and fear are simply looking for the movement within me to go ahead and dissipate. It takes 90 seconds from the point of stimulus of a feeling for it to totally move through the neuronal pathways in the brain to be complete. But if we haven't continually cleared that, we're going to have a few suitcases of feeling that we drag along with us. I have a number of them. But as I grow and as I learn how to dissipate them, as I learn how to express and clear the pipes of my feeling states that are from my past, as I learn when I feel something that is other than joy, to sit and settle the feeling and let it move through me and not get stuck within me, then it's much easier for me to experience my own light. Metaphysically, light is spiritual intelligence. And Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said, light's affirmation is, I am the light of my world. I am the light of my world, and you are the light of your world. And ultimately, we are the light of the world. That was one of the universal teacher, Jesus' teaching. You are the light of the world. We're lighting up with our vibration wherever we are. And personally, I want to be as high in vibration as I can in any moment. I want to be open to allowing that light to move in, through, and as me to make a difference in the world. I want to be somebody that if you resonate with me and you come into my presence, you're going to feel better. You feel uplifted. And I want to be in the presence of others that when I get into their presence, whether it's physical or in my memory, I feel uplifted. And I have a whole bunch of people in my life. I'm just saying that to you right now. I just feel the smile come in. We can learn how to be the light we are, how to be the light of the world, because we can learn it. It's really more like remembering it, because that's who and what we are. Charles Fillmore says this, the mind of the Spirit will guide you in perfect ways. The mind, we're talking about divine mind here. The mind of the Spirit will guide you in perfect ways, even in the minute details of your life, if you will let it do so. The mind of the Spirit. What does that mean? We see the divine, we see principle, which is one of the names for God, as God is. There's principle. It's immutable. It's unchangeable. And from principle comes what we call divine ideas: beauty, joy, love, harmony, peace. Those are all divine ideas. And if we are willing to reflect, to contemplate, to meditate, to hold in prayer these ideas, we can find the inner urgings from within us and learn how to live those ideas. And it starts like this, from questions. I believe that questions move us forward. Who am I? What am I? Is really the question. What am I? Well, what am I? I talk about this regularly. I'm inherently divine and I'm inherently human. So I'm fully divine. It's within me. The question is, how much of my divinity am I expressing in any given moment? And I'm fully human. And how much of my humanness am I expressing in any moment? And there is nothing wrong with being human. We're here for an adventure on this planet Earth. And to become fully human and fully divine is to live in the wholeness of who we were created to be. What am I? And where am I living from? How much of my humanness am I expressing? Because humanness is love, and it's compassion, and it's kindness, and it's caring. And yes, sometimes it's some other things when we haven't had the experience of being loved and we're hurt. And hurt people want to hurt people. When we feel hurt and then we want to manipulate a situation. When we've been hurt and we're hanging on to that hurt and there's a line of suitcases that are behind us, and we bring it to every encounter, it's hard to uplift our energy to that frequency of light, of love, of joy, because we're burdened by the baggage that we're carrying. And yet in unity, we teach the tools to release the baggage. We do it through denials and affirmations. I can deny, and this is not the psychological form of denial like, oh, it doesn't really exist, my baggage. But I can deny that any old hurts that have occurred in my life have no power over me, because I live in the present moment. And I'm willing to release the old hurts and the pains and the sadnesses and the fears and live in the present moment. And that's the only moment we truly have. It's the holy moment, not only H-O-L-Y, but it's the holy, W-H-O-L-L-Y moment. It's the moment where we can express all that we are. I can't live on my past accomplishments. Usually, I do something and I forget I even do it. I have to go back and look at my resume. But I can't live on the glory of those, because those dim. And I cannot live in the anger that I might have felt, and I did feel, in my family growing up at times, because I thought my mother didn't love me. And I can carry that around. And if it's not the mother, it's somebody else. But I can carry that old hurt around for the rest of my life if I make that choice. Or I could lay it down. I can lay it down. I can lay it down and look to who am I now. That was then. That was the past. That has no power over me. And I know in this moment that what I am is fully human and fully divine at the same time. What I am is light. What I am is love. But I've got to allow for its expression. I've got to make the way for its expression. And that's part of who did I come here to be? Who did I come here to be? Did I come here to be old? And old has nothing to do with age. Old has a lot to do with slowing down our ability to live in change. Old has a lot to do with our ability to let go of things. We bought a granite not a few months ago, and we never got around to eating it. And eventually, even in the refrigerator, it looked withered. It wasn't being moved. It wasn't being utilized. Eventually, we let it go. We released it. Everything has a cycle. Even our emotions have a cycle. There's a point that it's time to let go of the past. And sometimes that's challenging. And it's possible because we are infinitely full of possibilities. Infinite possibilities. We are infinitely full of possibilities. And that's where the fun is. That's where the light is. What wants to be created? Who do I want to be? We have the right every day to wake up and say, who do I want to be today? Who do I want to be? We know and we teach that thought is creative and that the mind of spirit will guide us in even the minute, the tiniest details of our lives. So when I wake up and I'm willing to sit in a time of reflection or meditation, whatever you want to call it, and I'm willing to bring forth my thoughts and review my day, and I'm willing to say what thoughts and I'm not willing to let come into my consciousness and stay. It may come in, but it's up to me whether that thought stays or not, whether I feed it, whether I look at it, whether I examine it, whether I remember it for weeks on end every morning. Or I can go, oh yeah, I remember that. Let it go. Oh yeah, I don't have to hold on to that. I can let it go. And I personally like to do some kind of physical action that allows me to let it go. And then I can say, how do I want to create my day? Who do I want to be today? For if it's to be, it's truly up to me. Who do I want to be today? And so I'll start to review my day and I'll think, oh, I'm going to see so-and-so. I want to have a really good time. Well, what does that mean to have a really good time? I want our conversation to be deep and meaningful, to be rich and nourishing. And if we have some differences, I want those differences to be accepted in the wholeness of both our beings. Oh, I appreciate hearing your opinion because now I know more about who you are. And thank you for hearing my opinion. Now you know more about who I am. And there's a level of acceptance that comes with that. There's a level of going, oh, this is intimacy into me see. This is the ability to see into each other and see the divinity that we are, to see that light radiating forth that we are. And to feel it within us. And the third question, how do I know what direction to take? How do I know? How do I know what to do? Well, that's where this beautiful thing of divine ideas comes in. When we reflect, when we meditate, when we contemplate, when we daydream, and we're daydreaming on our lives, and we think about, well, this is what I want. Most of us have been taught not to really want, but what do I want? In that infinite possibility, what do I really want? What does my heart want? What does my heart want that I'm not even saying because I'm so afraid I cannot have it? When I'm willing to sit in those questions, the inner urging will come forth, and I'll know the direction to take. An idea, a thought, something will happen, and I will know the direction to take. Reverend Eric Butterworth says, and it doesn't matter the direction you take. And he's echoing the prophet Isaiah, who says, step to the left or step to the right, and the voice behind you will say, go that way. Eric Butterworth says, if you have an urge and you do that, even if it doesn't take you down the path that you wanted to go down, what will happen is the experiences you have in that path, the experiences you have in that process will bring you to a different level of consciousness, so that when you choose again, that you will choose from a different level of consciousness. And that will take you down another path. So this is really the light, that pathway of light that's within us, having the adventure of being fully divine and fully human on this planet Earth. And when we can lighten up, when we can enlighten ourselves, instead of looking for someone else to enlighten us, we come from what our resonance is, what our consciousness is, what our feeling state is. And as we grow and as we learn and as we transform, that feeling state, that consciousness state is going to transform, and so we're going to live from a different energy. When I think about who I was when I was in my 20s, sometimes I wonder, would I even like her? And yet in my 20s, I did some fabulous things that led me here to where I am now. And sometimes I think, wow, I wish I had known such and such in my 30s, but I didn't, so maybe it wasn't time for me to know it, because maybe I didn't have the consciousness to embrace it. Eric Butterworth is one of my favorite Unity writers, and I lived in New York City at the same time he was speaking at that Unity church there. I didn't even know anything about it. I'd never heard about Unity. So I can and a part of me feels disappointed, but what I can actually recognize is that I would not have had the consciousness at that time, because I was very anti what I thought was religion. Now I recognize it's people's opinions about a spiritual state. But I might not have been able to be open and to embrace the ideology. I might not have been open to the love that's present. And I certainly might not have liked all the hugs and the joy and I might have thought, wow, what's going on here? But when it came time for me to step into a Unity church, it was 2005, when it came time for me, when my consciousness had grown to where I could accept it, I felt drawn to it. I felt drawn to it. I'd pass the church every day on my way to work. That's how I got to my office and back. And one day, I decided on a Sunday morning, I think I'll go. So I went. And I cried. I cried every hour or every moment of that service, because suddenly I felt like I had come home to something that was deep inside of me that I had been searching for. It was a light that was waking up inside of me that I had not known, but I had known that there was a longing, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't go back for a while because that was a pretty powerful experience for me. And when I did go back, I had a similar experience. I started to cry. And I cried through that service too. And the next time I went back, this woman said to me, "Hey, Nickie." I'm thinking, this is my third time here. How do you know my name? And so you can see, but I had been living in New York for a while. How do you know my name? And it was that moment of awareness that somebody recognized me, opened something up in me. Opened something up in me. That woman happened to be Reverend Mindy Tucker. But something opened up in me in that moment. And I went into the sanctuary, and somebody said to me, "Oh, I've been seeing you here, and you always sit alone. Did you come with somebody?" And I said, "No." "Well, here, sit with me." Somebody else recognized my light. A light that I wasn't seeing, but I was beginning to feel, because it was beginning to open up and shine forth. This is who all of us are. It's not unique to me. What's unique is the way it occurred for me. And what's unique for you is the way it opens up for you. What's unique for you is the way you follow. You hear and you follow. You experience and you follow that inner guidance. That's what's unique. But we all have it. It's within us all the time. Because God is everywhere present in all moments. And since we're fully divine, that presence is us in every moment. And I come back to the question of, and who did I come here to be? An expression of God. An expression of light. An expression of love. It took a while for me to get it. And as I've told many of you before, I was on a spiritual path, and I didn't even get that I was on a spiritual path, but I knew that there was a longing in my heart. And so when I began to allow it, and I would start to meditate, and I would tune in, or I would sit by the ocean and reflect, I began to notice an urge within me, or an idea within me, or a thought within me, and I would begin to follow those thoughts, or those that, oh, I really want to make time to read this book. That was an urge within me. I really want to make time to go and do this or that. The Unity Church had a Wednesday night prayer and healing service, and on Wednesday nights, it was my pottery night. That's where I was every Wednesday night, and the pottery class did not get done before the service started. And I found I would be in the pottery class, and it would be getting to be about 6:30. And I loved the fact that our teacher let us stay until he was ready to leave. So sometimes I wouldn't leave till 9 or 10. But at about 6:30, I get that sort of, I think I'd like to go. I think I'd like to go to that prayer and healing service. And so I would put this pottery away because I knew I could come back to it. I put the pottery stuff away and clean up. And in my very messy clothes, I would go to the service. And nobody said, oh, you can't come in here because you have clay all over your shorts or your jeans and your top. They said, hey, I'm glad you're here. Who in your life, when you encounter them, lights up because they're excited to see you? That's the light from within. And that's the resonance that we have with each other. And that's who I want to spend my time with. That folks where I light up and they light up. And so we're really lighting up the world. And we do that from our point of consciousness. We experience life through our point of consciousness. And so I want to be somebody who's consistently growing and transforming and opening up my consciousness, expanding it in such a way that light continues to expand from my heart center. And so I can continue to live in the present moment. So I continue to hear that guidance, that internal guidance of love, of peace, of joy, and of harmony. Ralph Waldo Emerson says this: what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. I want the majority of my time to be focused on and expressing what lies within me. I want to know that what lies behind me is the past and I can appreciate it. And what lies before me is my future potentiality and I'm excited by it. And what lies within me is the current moment that I am in. What lies within me is the light, the love, the peace, the harmony. I want that to be the biggest expression of me. Now, who we came to be, what do you want to be the biggest expression of you? It may be different than me. That's okay. Because we are the eachness of the allness. We're the unique, individualized expressions of the divine. So who do you want to be in expression of the divine in this moment and today and tomorrow and all the next now moments that come about? Who do you want to be? Let that flow through you and in you. And let's take that question, who do I want to be, into a time of meditation. Who did I come here to be, and who do I want to be? And are those two questions in alignment with each other? And I'm going to invite us to start with a focus on our heart. And taking a breath and the focus on our heart. And imagine light. It can be heart-shaped or round or whatever shape you want it to be. But just imagine light within you, beginning in your heart space. So we begin with the light within us, lighting our path in this meditation. And as you feel it, as you experience it, as you see it, whichever way comes forth for you, begin to allow it to expand. So that light is beginning to move up and across your chest to your shoulders. And at the same time around your thoracic region, your torso, and down toward your pelvic area. And it begins to pour down your arms, your elbows, your wrists, and your fingers. And it moves up, that same light simply moves up into your head, your neck and your head. You can feel it on your cheeks. You can feel yourself smiling, that light, and moves up. So it's radiating from your head and moving on up into the space, to the universe, to that universal space. And it's moving down our legs, down our thighs and our knees and our calves, our ankles, across our feet and out our toes. Beings of light. Beings of light in this now moment. Sometimes we're called light workers. Who have I come here to be? Let that, in the midst of that light, let that question float in your mind and in your heart together. Who have I come here to be? What do I want in my life for me? Who have I come here to be? What choices do I make in life, right here and right now? Am I willing to let go of the past, to declare it has no power over me, and to focus on the now moment and what I want? Am I willing to take time each day to reflect in whatever way works for me? Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's sitting in the silence. Maybe it's a guided meditation. Am I willing to spend time with myself, looking at my beliefs, wondering, does this fit the current version of me? But most of all, am I willing to love myself as much as I can, exactly where I'm at, and let the love do the healing? Let the love infuse to the edges of my body. Let the love and the light intertwine like vines that grow together. Am I willing to let the light that I am expand outside my body and fill the very room that I'm in? And then move on outward to fill the town that I'm in, and to fill up the state that I live in, and then move on across the United States, up into Canada and down into Mexico, and all around the world, so that the collection of our lights come together, touching each other and beginning to ride the various waves of our vibration until they touch, and we hold the entire planet Earth in our light. Who have I come here to be? And who have you come here to be? What a beautiful question. It's the questions that often lead us forward. It's the answers that we want to live into. Let that answer to that question come from within you. And then I invite you to begin to come back into this time and to this place, to this now moment. Ever changed because you've taken a journey. And this now moment is different than the now moment that we began with today. But here you are. Allow your light, allow your beingness, allow your divinity and your humanness to soar.
When they push, when they pull, tell me, can you hold on? When they say you should change and you lift your head high and stay strong, will you give up, give in when your heart's crying out that it's wrong? Will you love you for you at the end of it all? Now in life, there's gonna be times when you're feeling love and in your mind, insecurities seem to take control. We start to look outside ourselves for acceptance and approval. We can't forget the one thing we should know is don't be scared to fly alone. Find a path, it is your own. Love will open every door. It's in your hand, the world is yours. Don't be scared, always know all the answers will unfold. What are you waiting for? Spread your wings and soar. The boy who wonders, is he good enough for them? Keeps trying to prove himself, but he just doesn't seem to fit in. Then there's a girl who thinks she'll never ever be good enough for them. Keeps trying to change, yeah, game she'll never win, yeah. In life, there's gonna be times when you're feeling love, and in your mind, insecurities seem to take control. Start to look outside ourselves for acceptance and approval. We keep forget that the one thing you should know is don't be scared to fly alone. Find a path, it is your own. Love will open every door. It's in your hands, the world is yours. Don't be scared and always know all the answers will unfold. What are you waiting for? Spread your wings and soar.
Unity of Wilmington is going to challenge you to a couple of things if you have been moved, touched, or inspired by this message today. And number one, embody it. Number two, share it with a friend. And number three, support Unity of Wilmington with your love and your financial tithes and gifts. You can do it at unitywill.com.
And I invite you to tune in. Feel your light. Feel it expanding through all of your body and out your edges around the world. And find the people in your life who uplift you and live from that consciousness with love. We want to remind you that you are a beloved expression of God.
You are here for a holy purpose.
You are always in the right place at the right time right now, and that time is this moment.
Woo-hoo.
Don't be scared, fly alone, find a path, it's your own. Love will open every door, it's in your hands, the world is yours. Don't be scared, always know all the answers will unfold. What are you waiting for? Spread your wings and soar. Don't be scared to fly alone, find a path, it's your own. Love will open every door, it's in your hands, the world is yours. Don't be scared and always know all the answers would unfold. What are you waiting for? Spread your